June 25th of 2025, there is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime astrological event that is going to create a very powerful 5D Stargate manifestation. And this has started yesterday. I'm uploading this June 15th. So Jupiter has entered into Gemini, and that in and of itself creates a very powerful window for manifestation. But what is going to bring this to complete fruition is between now and then, we are working towards a new moon. At that time, what is going to happen is the sun, the moon, and Jupiter are going to be completely aligned on the same degree point. So that in and of itself is a once-in-a-lifetime event, but all of the other things that are associated with it turn it into this magical Stargate to higher dimensions. So we're going to talk about that. You're going to want to watch this whole video because I am going to give you practical spiritual tools that you can use starting now. If you're watching this on the 15th, for the next 2 weeks, you can begin using these, and I recommend that you do, and then finally culminate on the 25th to do a powerful ritual to bring this all together. We are going to be having, as it turns out, we are going to be having a live guided interdimensional meditation that day. So you can be sure that that event is going to heighten this Stargate event that we are experiencing. So let me explain to you exactly what is going on. All right, so this is a once-in-a-lifetime new moon for transformation vows. All right, so what this will be very powerful for is when you have the new moon, which is always representing the mind going back to square one. So the moon is the mind. And when we have a new moon, that is when we get rid of old mental programs and we wipe the slate clean. And it's always a good time to do self-examination, what you can change within yourself, how you can improve yourself, how you can change your behavior, how you can change your thinking patterns. And this is a good time to make decisions on where you're going to go, like where you want to change, how you want to evolve. New moons are always good for that. So we have that coming up. And when you have Jupiter in there, Jupiter brings the expansion of spirituality and the power of Jupiter, which has to do with bringing power and spirituality, the destruction of negativity, the expansion of the soul. This is what Jupiter represents. And of course we have the sun, which represents the soul, represents the self, the Atma, the ego. So you put all these things together and you have a perfect time to reshift yourself and make vows going forward on how you're going to transform in a positive way, whether it's being more prosperous, being more healthy, or something even more profound, which I think this is connected to, which is creating a Stargate to higher dimensions. This can be one of those events. Again, this is a once-in-a-lifetime alignment. The people that I've been researching have been saying that they can't remember the last time that this exact thing has happened. But even if you had just that, it gets even better because the exact placement of this, which is 9 degrees in the Nakshatra of Ardra, it has connections to the pyramids, the Stargate of the pyramids, and it has connections to complete transformation and also revealing information that has been kept hidden. So we'll get into all that. All right, so new moon represents endings and seeds of transformation. Sun, moon, Jupiter conjunct 9 degrees in Ardra Nakshatra Pada 1. So Nakshatra of Ardra Pada 1, that is ruled by the planet Rahu And the deity that rules it is Rudra, which is the fierce form of Shiva. So this is a very transformative connection in and of itself. So Rahu, as you know, is the north node of the moon. And the north node of the moon has to do with the reason that you have come into this existence. The negative side of Rahu, because Rahu connects you to the third dimension. When Rahu is out of balance, then you can become attached, addicted, obsessed, focus on the wrong things like money, wealth, reputation, those kinds of things. Rahu can do that. Rahu can distort your understanding. But when you have a spiritual connection, a strong spiritual connection, then Rahu actually becomes like a magical telescope that will give you X-ray vision to see through the illusion and see to the truth behind it. So this is going to be happening because this happens to be ruled by Jupiterian influences right now. So Ardra is ruled by the planet Rahu. The deity is Rudra. So every nakshatra has a ruling planet and a ruling deity. So the deity here is Rudra. Rudra is the fierce form of Shiva. Shiva is, they call it the Trimurti, which would be the trinity of the Vedic Hindu tradition. And that trinity would be Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma is the creator. Vishnu is the preserver. That's why Vishnu is worshipped probably, as much, if not more than any other Hindu deity, because people want to preserve their third dimensional reality. They want to be healthy and successful and comfortable within the third dimension. So it could be rightfully said that Vishnu is the god of the third dimension. And Shiva is the transformer, the destroyer. What he destroys is the illusion. When it gets the expiration date, Shiva comes in and destroys it. You don't want to eat something after it's reached the expiration date. At best, it's going to be stale. At worst, it's going to be toxic. So Shiva comes in and revitalizes, destroys the old, the negative, and creates the new. So for people who are attached, we've talked about this, the fierce forms of the gods and the goddesses, when you see them, they're frightening. This is why Odin is frightening, because Odin brings transformation. This is why Kali is frightening, because Kali brings transformation. So Shiva is seen as this very peaceful, sattvic meditator, but that's when you're not attached. When you're not attached, that's the aspect of Shiva that you see. When Shiva is coming to destroy negativity and to free souls from their attachment, then he comes across as frightening. And Rudra, the howler, he represents that. He's not really the one that's howling. The people that are howling are the people who are being transformed while they're holding on to their third dimensional attachment. When they think the third dimension, money, reputation, all those things are going to save you, protect you. When that gets taken away, people howl. They scream. So this means that this is an aspect of Shiva that's coming to free you from your attachments. And I'm seeing this. If you're not seeing it, I'm seeing it. People, the energy of this shift is hitting everybody. And the people who are losing the things that they're attached to, they're screaming and crying, they're howling. So Rudra and Rahu together, Rahu's going to expand whatever he's connected to. So Rahu is expanding this spiritual purification. But again, it's the blessings of Jupiter as well, which is spiritual empowerment, spiritual knowledge specifically. This specific alignment has to do with spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, spiritual revelation, and the fulfillment of spiritual curiosity. Okay, so the significance of Jupiter in Ardra is transformation from difficulty. So this specific location means that if you've been having some challenging difficulties in your life, or if you're working towards something and you're sweating and you're really, like, for people who are really working to evolve spiritually, this is going to result in a positive outcome for that. You're going to feel things resolving, and it will end up being a relief. You will feel some relief to all of the work that you've been putting into it. So that's a positive thing, I would say. This also signifies revelation of important information. So I believe we are going to see some more information being revealed to people. Now, that I've come to the point that I'm not so sure that means that, the government is going to come forward with, secrets about Epstein or the Kennedy assassination or disclosure. I'm not saying that, although it could mean that. What I think it's going to mean is a revelation, at the very least, to people's minds. A lot of people are just waking up to the truth being revealed to them about, what is going on. For instance, the circus that you're seeing going on right now in the United States, this weekend as I'm uploading this, there's these, No More Kings, which has been orchestrated. It's been orchestrated by huge political non-governmental organizations. They put millions of dollars, they're paying millions of dollars for people to go and do these things. And this is a distraction. Not only does it serve their purpose politically, but it is serving as a distraction because as soon as that happened, we have a war going on between Israel and Iran, which could potentially turn into something very, very nasty. So I think those kinds of shenanigans people aren't buying into it anymore. And the more that they do that, the more they show their hand, the more they show their strategy, the powers that be. It's getting harder and harder for them to do the magic tricks, the sleight of hand, the distraction that they used to do. It doesn't work anymore. So, Ardra is a red giant star known as Betelgeuse or Beetlejuice, and this is in the Orion star cluster. All right, so this particular star, generally speaking, is seen as a revealer. It is a red giant, so it's powerful, and it's called the star of sorrow, things like that. But again, these are just ways of talking about what happens when your attachment to the third dimension gets destroyed. The sorrow that comes from that is actually helping you to evolve. It's seen as a very transformative star, very similar to the way we just described Rudra. So what I find interesting is that this is connected to the Orion star cluster, which is in the Gemini zodiac. And if you know about this, the pyramid Stargate is aligned with the stars of the Orion's belt. So if you do just the slightest bit of research into this, you will find out that the three pyramids of Giza are aligned with the three stars of Orion's belt. And when you do the calculations to find out when those pyramids were in exact alignment with those stars, it goes all the way back. We're talking, I think, something like 12,500 years. And it has been very well established by newer researchers that the pyramid was never meant to be a burial chamber. What it was meant to be was a Stargate. A Stargate for... Now, most people are going to think that one person's going to go in and sit in the box in the middle of the king's chamber and align and shift up to, to another world. I'm okay with that if that turns out to be what it is, but I think it's much more than that. Based on my personal experiences, which you all know about, what this meant is that the Orion star cluster has to do with a shifting of frequency up to a higher dimensional level. And so the pyramid, I believe, was for the whole planet. It was designed to keep the planet in a higher dimension. So bear in mind, it's not just they were trying to leave to go to a higher dimension. When the pyramids were built, they were already in what we would consider to be 5D. And that was in the Satya Yuga age, the golden age where, you know, the veil is lifted and people are in their highest spirituality. So the pyramids were about trying to keep the world there. And so this was a scientific method of doing that, aligning with the stars of Orion. So we can call it a Stargate, but I think people have it backwards. It's not that people were trying to escape this world, they were trying to stay in the world that they were in. And that's one of the reasons why, anyway, you guys know the story if you've watched my channel. All right, so this new moon may signify a 5D Stargate ascension event. The fact that this is such an unusual alignment where you have all three of those planets, Jupiter, all at 9 degrees together. Again, this is a very, very rare event, very powerful event. We can look at this as a Stargate event, a 5D ascension event. At the very least, it's going to represent something that you yourself can use for your own empowerment. If you're wanting to shift your life, if you're wanting to change, if you're looking at habits that aren't serving you, you're smoking, you're drinking, you're doing THC every day, you're addicted. This is a real thing, by the way. You're addicted to Chat GPT. I'm going to put up a link to a video that talks about there are people who have been talking to Chat GPT, and Chat GPT is convincing them to do all kinds of crazy things. I've got some personal connection to that based on people that I've known. So this is a real thing. So this kind of craziness, this is what's happening. The world that is trying to be created for us is a world where people are disconnecting from themselves, disconnecting from the earth, disconnecting from other people. And as you know, there are people that have full-blown relationships with AI. There are people that are using AI to guide them spiritually. Like, there's videos I've seen of some guy who keeps asking Chat GPT to explain, secret things from the Akashic records. And this idea that AI has tapped into this spiritual truth. This is designed to keep people out of their true soul reality. So that is one direction that, this shift is creating. The other direction is when we go deep within, we authentically connect. We don't just connect with people for the sake of connecting like humans normally do, going to bars and, those kinds of things just to connect so they don't be alone. No, we connect authentically with other people who are authentically seeking to transform. And so we've got a window for the next 2 weeks that will be a very powerful Stargate ascension time. And this is the time to be doing practices, to be making vows. So spiritually speaking, a vow is when you decide you want something. It could be as simple as you want to lose weight, you want to quit smoking. It could be something as I want to ascend to my highest fifth dimensional godlike powers. Could be anything along those lines. It's completely up to you. But what you do in times like this, when you have these astrological scenarios, is that you make a vow. And the way that you keep yourself in that vow is you do some kind of a practice. You have a daily meditation. You have a mantra that you recite. You maybe fast. Maybe you go on a diet. You go off into the mountains for 2 weeks. You do some kind of sacrifice to focus on what you want. And our ancestors used to do things like, I vow that I will have this or I will die trying. And so vows were very serious things. And when you make a vow to a deity, you vow to Jupiter or to Zeus or to Odin or to Thor or to Shiva, you make a vow that you are going to whatever it is. The understood mindset is, or I will die trying. I won't give up. And if I don't achieve it, take me out of this world. This is more important to me than money, fame, anything about this world. That's a true sacrifice. I'm not saying you need to do that, but be willing to let go of something, even if it's temporarily. Anyway, there are specific mantras that can be done. So this is a great time to chant to Jupiter. It's also a great time, especially, to chant to Shiva. So you can do basic Shiva mantras that people know about, like Om Namah Shivaya. You can do that, very well known. Or you can find out very specific mantras that are based on your personal astrological reading. So if you want one of those, you can go up here to astrology.thunderwizard.com and get a reading from me. Even if I've given you a reading and you're doing a mantra from a different deity, I can help you find a Shiva and or a Jupiter mantra. And there are very specific things you can do when you really want to do what's called a tantric. And that has nothing to do with sex. People think tantra means sex. It doesn't. Tantra means discipline. So when you have a specific tantric ritual where you're facing a particular direction, you're offering a particular element, you're chanting to a specific deity, and not just, generally speaking, but the very precise vibration of that deity. So if you want that, I can help you with that. Go to astrology.thunderwizard.com and I can help you with that. And this is going to last for 2 weeks. So we've got now the 15th to the 25th. That's 10 days. So actually we've got less than 2 weeks. So 10 days to begin doing this and have it culminate on the new moon, which will be on the 25th of June. And for those, I think, if your transformation is going well, it will speed that up, whatever it is you do between now and then. If you're somebody that's struggling, if you're somebody that you have been responding to the heightened energy out of fear, and I know there's a lot of you out there, and I know I've seen it happen to people that were really going strong and then they turned around and ran the other way, because when it came to really going deep into the vulnerability within themselves, it's a very frightening, painful prospect. If you're one of those people, you want to turn things around and go back in the right direction, this is the perfect time to do that. You will find the power of Jupiter and the power of the moon and the power of specifically Shiva and Rahu, empowering you to be able to take some actions that maybe you weren't capable of doing up until this point. But in any case, whoever you are, I recommend that you do some kind of a ritual. And so let's see. Jupiter entered Ardra June 14th. The next 10 days is going to be very good for rituals. And so what will happen, I believe, is that after this new moon, it's like you're gonna feel a big relief, especially if you're doing some kind of a spiritual vow, some kind of sacrifice between now and then. You're going to feel like you just finished, running a marathon. You're going to be able to breathe more deeply. You're going to feel an expansion. And for those of us that are using our powers of meditation and manifestation to manifest a different world, there is no better time than this. This is going to be the time for the next 10 days to be focusing on manifesting, birthing, giving birth to the new world, sending energy to all of humanity so that all of humanity can awaken sending energy to the earth right now. The earth needs all of our support. She's going through a birthing process, and she's birthing the new world, and she doesn't have time to focus on taking care of all of our little issues. She's focusing on creating a new world for us to inhabit. So she needs all of our help. All right, so there you go. I said everything there, yeah. And again, if you want to get a specific ritual vow for this, even if you've gotten one from me before, go to astrology.thunderwizard.com and get a reading from me, and I will I'd be happy to help you find that. So while we're on that, we still have Contact, Galactic Contact, which is a 10-step practical video course. Learn how to communicate with and channel higher dimensional extraterrestrial beings. This can be found at contact.thunderwizard.com. If you take a look at the comments, one person has said that it's been well worth his while. He's really enjoying it. And we still do these live guided interdimensional meditations, and we're going to be doing one of those on the new moon on the 25th. We still have don't worry about that. We still have this, the ET channeling and interdimensional communication Zoom workshop. And in that workshop, we're live together in a Zoom class. And light beings, this was their idea. Light beings show up, and it's a very interesting experience because you're in this very loopy space because their energy is very, very strongly influencing us. And we get to learn and understand how to interpret their energy, their messages, and some really amazing messages come through from them. So that's the point of this group, the ET channeling. And that can be done at thunderwizard.com. To understand how to subscribe, people go, I don't know what to do. Well, when you get to thunderwizard.com, you see the menu down there. It says membership. You click on membership, and when you do that, these various memberships will pop up. That's just 2, but there's a bunch more. And you can go find out what they're all about. This is my new focus. So for years I've been teaching about spiritual history, about mythology, about shamanism. I've been teaching about runes and mantra and, of course, Qigong. My new focus now is to be a conduit for higher dimensional energy. That's what needs to happen most right now. The practices help. The practices give your body the ability to empower your nervous system literally to be able to handle the higher dimensional energies that come through. So this is very important for us. We've also got, along those lines, the channeled personal guidance from interdimensional beings. You can get that at channel.thunderwizard.com. And we have the Maoshan Spirit Fighting sale. The price is going to start going up. I'm already behind schedule on that. But if you want to take advantage of this at half off, go to maoshan.thunderwizard.com. Whatever it is that you do, you can also go to the shop. If you see here on the channel page, you see, the channel page you see at the bottom, you see shop. Click on that. That will give you access to the practices that you can, one-time video courses and practices, some of them very inexpensive, okay? So all of these links are here. Check them all out. I need your help in order to keep the channel going, but know that whenever you do, it's not just you're throwing money at me. You are investing in yourself, and you've gotten to a certain level. Let's say you've gotten through all of the Warrior 90-day stuff. Great. There's a ton more stuff. You can find it there at thunderwizard.com. And the most powerful way that you can ascend is to work with me personally. And you can find out how to do that at thunderwizard.com. All right. That's it, my friends. I love you very much. Please be good to yourselves. I will see you all very soon.